Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of the Before the Ball Drop podcast. We're your hosts, James,
And Rebecca.
and welcome to week 5 of the podcast. Can't believe it's been 5 weeks already, 5 episodes already. Can you believe that?
I can't. It went by really fast.
Heck yeah, 5 episodes down and a lot more to go. This episode in particular has been one we have been excited about since we started the podcast, so strap yourselves in. This one might be a bit longer than what you're used to from us from the past few episodes, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm all ready. I got my tea.
Heck yeah, gotta stay burning the midnight oil. You never know how late we're going to be running for this episode. It's gonna be over. It's gonna be an overrun. Could
Yeah,
be.
yeah, it could be because we have a lot to talk about with this one.
Yeah, so many consoles that came out in the 90's that we had when we were younger. So there's so many games to talk about. It's a lot different than with other things that we've done because, like, I feel like video games for both me and Rebecca probably consume the majority of like our free time. I would like to say. I mean, I know for me it did as a kid.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty fair. That's, yeah, it probably consumed a lot of my time too.
Yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be an exciting one. First off, like we do with every episode, we did an exchange thing where we each experienced a piece of media that the other person hadn't experienced. That, yeah, you know what I'm saying. We exchanged media that we hadn't experienced with each other. You had me check out Aladdin for the Super Nintendo, and I got around to playing that. I had to sail the high seas for it, and I found out that this is the same one that I played for the Sega Genesis as well. I played it in my one of my classrooms. Like we used to have like some consoles set up in there, and so it was kind of cool experiencing that game again. I think the Super Nintendo version's a bit better, in my opinion, than the Sega one. Uh,
Yeah, I'd agree. My sister and I recently played the Genesis version, and we didn't like it as much.
yeah, I thought it was a pretty fun game. I got through like 3 levels and I enjoyed it. It any type of game. It's like a lot like the standard fare of the. It's like playing like one of the Mario games. You know, you jumping on enemies and collecting stuff, and yeah, just start to finish each level. Pretty cool. You get like a bonus at the end of every level, like with the genie. It like spins the wheel, and I thought that was cool. I like that. It reminded me of Mario as well in that
Mm,
regard. The
yeah,
mini games and stuff that you get to get like power ups. So I like that the wheel spin feature. So yeah, Aladdin for Super Nintendo was really cool. Like I said, I liked it better than the Genesis version. So good recommendation. I liked it.
it is one of my favorites from childhood. I could never beat it by myself, though. Still can't. I still have to get my sister to help me on the carpet level.
Yeah, I'm not good at games like that. Like those type of games, I'm like I play for a while, then I kind of like rage quit after like I get stuck on something. Feel like the angry video game nerd. Like I start raging out like like how he would. Which, speaking of angry video game nerd, he has a video game out now. I just saw that on the PlayStation Store. Angry video game nerd, the video game.
Oh yeah, that's been out for a while, I think, hasn't it? Or did he come out
Yeah.
with a new one?
I, no, I think it might have been out for a little bit. I had never seen it until recently. I thought that was pretty neat that he had a game.
That one's apparently very hard too.
Yeah, I'd imagine it would be like he's wants it to be just like all the games that he's played on his channel that were hard than old Nintendo games.
It's the epitome of if I have to suffer, you do too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Good old James Rolfe. Um, of course, I recommended you check a certain game out as well. Did you get around to that?
I did. I watched the full playthrough because I couldn't play it, but I watched the playthrough at work. It's Mad Dog McCree, I think it
Yep,
was. Yeah.
Mad Dog McCree, Sega
And
CD.
it's always interesting to me to see the live action video games like Night
Mm-hmm.
Trap, Mad Dog McCree. There's another one, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Um, just like real life action ones, but the shooter ones have always been fun to me. But I feel like I wouldn't have patience to play it if I played it today.
Yeah, there's a game that me and my dad played. We never got to play the sequel. There was a sequel to Mad Dog McCree, which we always talked about getting it, but we never did. But when we had the Sega CD, we played the heck out of the Mad Dog McCree game. We used to laugh at how hilarious the acting was, especially the sheriff when you get the keys from him and stuff. Like that sheriff was hilarious. The old dude is like it looked like that old dude had never acted in anything in his entire life.
That was his one breakout role.
Yeah, that was all like it just looked like some dude off the street and like just the way I loved it. And there's a guy that when you shoot him it sounds like he screams dad and then falls down. Oh my god.
That reminds
Yeah.
me of like the Perfect Dark series where when you shoot people, they make like the most overdramatic screams. And they're always like, "Ugh."
Yeah. Yeah, so Mad Dog McCree is it's a core memory from my childhood. And my dad still remembers that game. I bring it up to him every now and again and I'm like, "Remember Mad Dog McCree?" And yeah, we get a good laugh out of that. The
Is
Sega CD was pretty cool.
is that video game based on anything, like a show or a movie, or was it just a game that they made?
I think it might just been a game, but I could be wrong because I never had heard anything about Mad Dog McCree before, other than just the Sega CD game that we had. So it could be. It's worth looking into. It might have been a movie, a show, or something. But it might have just like there's just a game that they concept that they might have just came up with, which was it's a interesting concept to have like it just be like a live action, basically a movie that in a way of that you're controlling, shooting the characters and stuff, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. S-
But
So,
yeah,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, just the Sega CD again. Like, I I could probably wrap up the like my whole experience with the Sega CD by saying because like we had one, and the only games I can really remember for it are that one and Star Wars Chess, which was another really fun game where it's just a chess game, and when you steal the other pieces, you engage in battle. So I remember like C3PO like getting his head cut off, and then also C3PO beating Darth Vader to death with his arm, like crazy stuff like that.
That's so graphic for early video game
Yeah,
console. Did
but
you? So you had the Sega Genesis CD as a or the Sega CD as a kid?
yeah, my dad had a Sega CD as a kid. Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad had the Sega CD, and yeah, those are like the two main games I remember: Mad Dog McCree and Star Wars Chess.
Hmm. Yeah, our first console was the, if I remember correctly, because I think it was around the time we got two consoles, which were the Sega Genesis um, and then like the Super Nintendo, or sorry, the original Nintendo.
The
Um,
NES, good old
yeah,
NES.
so I fondly remember that, but I wasn't allowed to play as much because they were my brother's systems.
Mm.
A lot of this is going to be my brother's system. I don't actually get into gaming until the PS1.
Yeah, we had the first console I remember owning was the NES as well, and there's my mom would always be playing Tetris on it, and the game that I got into on the NES was Dick Tracy. If you've ever seen any of the Dick Tracy movies and like cartoons stuff like that, he's a detective,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's like that old school like film noir like type of detective with the he has a long jacket and a hat. It's like yellow, and yeah, it's like a old school like vibe. I really loved it. The Dick Tracy game was super addicting to me as a kid, even though I was way too young to really understand how to play it for the most part and had to have help with it. And that was a common theme growing up with a few of the games I played. But yeah, my first console was the NES, and I remember Dick Tracy, and I remember Dr. Mario, and then Super Mario Brothers, and of course, my mom always played Tetris.
Yeah, my mom liked Tetris too. She played a lot of Tetris on the Game Boy when my grandmother bought me a Game Boy. I can't remember if she bought me the Game Boy or if it was again my brother's present because back then, girls playing video games wasn't as common. So, like parents and that didn't really buy systems specifically for girls. I think that they bought them for just family, and it mainly was the guys who played.
Yeah, yeah, that was a different time back then. I remember when I first like encountered any like girls in school that played video games, I was like taken aback by that. I'm like, wait, what? Really? Video games? You don't think that's weird? Playing video games?
Yeah, I remember working with a guy a couple of years ago, like a long time ago, probably when I was 22, and we were doing night shift together and we were talking about games. And he was telling me that he liked romantic movies, and I was like, "You like romantic movies?" And he's like, "Yeah, what? You like video games? Girls don't like video games." And I'm like, "Boys don't usually like cheesy romantic movies." And he's like, "Well, I guess we're just breaking stereotypes over here."
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I don't think anything should have ever been like consigned to like, one like gender, So
No,
it's like
100%.
the whole stereotype thing was crazy because I pink was always my favorite color, and I always felt ashamed about it when I was a kid, which I should have never felt ashamed about it, but you know, just the way things were at the time in society, I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't tell people that's my favorite color.
Yeah, that's all right though. I mean, it's a different world now, and I'm thankful for that. But
Mm-hmm.
back then, it was a bit obscure for girls to engage in what was considered like a majority male hobby, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of the games that were bought on the pretense of my brother playing them. So like the N64, the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Sega, which we didn't actually have very long. I only remember playing Ghosts and Goblins on it, and then I think
Mm.
we got rid of it. I think. But my first like actual gaming experience was probably when we first got our PC in like 1996. And it was like the
Mm.
biggest thing on the block, right? Cuz not a lot of
Mm-hmm.
families had computers with internet and everything.
Oh hell yeah.
And I played the hell out of Deer Hunter, Deer Hunting Simulator 1995.
Ooh,
And
hell yeah! That sounds like a freaking banger of a game, honestly. 'Cause I love those old like Cabela games, like the old yeah, like any of those like old hunting video games. I have good memories of those ones.
yeah, I would just like sit at the computer for hours and hours and hours and keep. This was a time when my dad was actually a trucker. So when he was on long haul trips, it was a lawless household. Like we could stay up as long as we wanted, eat whatever we wanted. Like my mother just did not consign any rules to us, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I would be playing like until 2, 3 in the morning, like just shooting deer, and she'd be playing solitaire on the computer for like hours at a time, and she'd be like, "You should probably go to bed," and I'm like, "You should too." And she's like, "That's a fair point." She's like, "Continue."
Couple of gamers. Awesome. Yeah, PC gaming, like my memories of that. I mean, we had a Macintosh computer in school, and those old Macintoshes were funny. But I just remember playing like all the little, you know, educational games on there. I never really played PC games till like much later on in like the 2000s when I got into that. Um, my next stop after the NES, I didn't ever have a SNES, so of course Final Fantasy VI wasn't a game that I experienced until later on in my life as well. Um, the Sega Genesis was the next console that I owned as a kid, and that was the first one that was like entirely mine. Um, and the game console that really changed my perspective of what gaming could be. Because I played Fantasy Star 3, which is the first RPG I ever played, and I remember, of course, like as with the Dick Tracy game, it was something that was way beyond my comprehension. My little brain couldn't comprehend a game like that, but I was in love with the game because of the music and the imagery, like the whole like, concept of like finding like you're just playing as this guy and he's like a prince and he's fighting all these monsters and leveling up and all that. We had a family friend come over, and I would always have him play it for us. And he was an adult, of course. He'd come over and play it for me, and I just watch him, and I was like so mesmerized by the game. And I remember a story that we still talk about to this day was he didn't come over the one day to play Fantasy Star, and I was really really upset. So my mom said I could call, so I called him, and the voice answer machine came up, and I literally started like cussing him out. Like 5-year-old me was like cussing this guy out to come play Fantasy Star. I'm like, come play stupid fucking Fantasy Star, you motherfucker.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
This brings
So
out the worst in
yeah,
you.
yeah. He still brings it up to this day. He's anytime I talk about video games with him, he's like, you still play stupid fucking Fantasy Star? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I was playing that again not too long ago. Every time I think about the game, I think about that guy.
That's one game that I never really got into, only because, like I said, I don't think we had our Sega Genesis for long, or our Sega system for long. Um, so I have Fantasy Star on the Switch, but I've never actually played it yet.
You should definitely play the games. They're definitely really good. Fantasy Star One, in particular, was like a super cool game. The dungeon layouts in those games, in that game, it's like when you go into the dungeons, it's like the old timey dungeon crawl, like where it's like first person view, and there's like the little corners and stuff.
Hmm.
It was kind of neat. Um, and there's a remake that they made for the PS2 that was only in Japan, but you can sail the high seas for an English translation. Which, if I would actually recommend the remake, the PS2 remake of Fantasy Star One, if you ever get a chance to get a hold of it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Fantasy Star Two was another epic game. Three, obviously, special place in my heart because it was the first RPG I experienced. But I think the best one in the series by far was the fourth and final game in the mainline series.
Oh, see, I hear the opposite. When I
Yeah.
listen to Happy Console Gamer a lot, and
Yeah.
he actually I think it's four that he doesn't like.
Oh wow. A lot of people don't like three because they don't like. Yeah, three was awesome though because it's literally three different. It's like different generations of the characters. Like the characters literally have kids, and then you play as the kids, and then they have kids, and you play as the kids. And like it's why it's called Generations of Doom. It's really, really, really was a neat concept for three. I love three, but I three's the one I usually hear people like really shitting on sometimes the most
I
personally.
like those type of games though. I like the because Dragon Quest V always got me with the fact that you can have children, and then you
Hmm.
can fight with your children. I kind of
Yeah,
like that concept of like generational stuff being included.
yeah, it's like the Romancing Saga, which I finally played recently, the remake of Romancing Saga, and that was kind of cool because like you keep selecting like different heirs to the throne, and like it does time jumps like a couple hundred years into the future, and then you're the emperor, like what you pass down the emperor to the next person, and that's really fun. I always thought that was neat, and you can inherit all the abilities that the other characters had in the past.
Oh, that's really cool. I haven't actually played that
Yeah.
one either. Is that number one?
Um, that's Romancing Saga. It's I think it was yeah. It's a remake of Romancing Saga. It's on PS5, but yeah, I think
Oh,
the
okay.
original Romancing Saga was a PS1 game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that's on my
but
list now to play.
yeah, Romancing Saga is a good one. Uh, so yeah, Sega Genesis. I remember the Madden games were super good back on the Genesis. Like I don't know, man. When I think of like Madden nowadays, like I'm not as big into it, but Madden all the way up to like the PS2 was something I had a lot of fun with. So yeah, NFL football was super cool. The NFL game day games were fun. Just anything NFL from like the older consoles, I have great memories playing. I used to have my dad play that one all the time. I used to want to see because the Super Bowl, when you won the Super Bowl in a game, it would show all the fireworks, and it was a really cool little scene. So I'd always tell my dad to play that. I'm like, Dad, can you go to the Super Bowl again? Like, I'd always ask him that so I could see the scene with all the little fireworks and stuff whenever you actually your team wins the Super Bowl in the game.
Yeah, I always liked these sports games for the Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I always played like the football. I forget exactly which ones. I think they were just the generic like NHL 95, Madden 98, stuff like that. But the one that I love the most, I think, is Extra Innings. And it's only really because Well, one, it's a cute game. So it's kind of like you can definitely tell it has Japanese influence because like there's little chibi characters that you play as, and they
Hmm.
when they get angry, they like smash the bat over their knees and everything. And then they
That's
like
awesome.
have like angry faces and everything. And number two, it's because it's my dad's favorite uh, game, so he would play that quite a bit. I actually emulated it, sailed the high seas, for him
Yeah,
to be able to play it on his Chromebook.
that's
Um,
awesome. I'm sure
and
that was like really cool for
and
him.
and when I went to Japan, I actually found a Japanese copy of it. So I was so excited to get that, and it's even so much cuter in the Japanese version because instead of saying extra innings in like an big American voice, it's like extra inning. Like,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's so cute.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I always
Yeah.
like those types of games for they're just like fun games even now to go back and just play, just for like a night,
Hmm.
just to like chill
Uh,
out too.
yeah, no, they're like comfort games now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, another game I played on the Sega. I mean, I'm gonna mention obviously like the most obvious thing when we think of Sega. What game do we think of before anything else? The iconic game, Sonic, of course. Um, the Sonic games, of course, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and then Sonic and Knuckles. I have so many memories playing that with my older sister. Um, there's a game Bonkers, which was also pretty cool. It was about this like little like cat and like I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I remember I was really into playing it a lot too as a kid.
Bonkers.
So
That
there's
reminds me of Bubsy.
Bubsy. Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah, I haven't played it, but
Yeah, Bubsy
yeah.
was one of my favorites with my sister. We would play that. I remember we had the TV set up in my mom's room for some reason, and the Nintendo as well. So when she would have to go to work and it was like a snow day or something, we would just sit on her bed and play Bubsy and Mickey's Magical Adventure.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, again,
Any all the Disney games, the Disney licensed games for the Sega and for like all those consoles were actually super good.
yeah, Mickey was
Anything.
really the only one that I played.
Yeah, I played Mickey too, and I loved it. Like I had, I don't know, there was something so charming about that game. The Simpsons games as well from those consoles were always fun as well. The one with what was it like Bart's homework or some
Oh,
crap like
Bart's
that.
Nightmare, yeah.
Bart's Nightmare, yeah, and like yeah, because like if you got a game over, it would just show the refrigerator with the his homework hanging up with the F on it, and they're all like pissed off at him and stuff. His family's disappointed in him. Yeah, Bart's Nightmare. That was super cool.
Yeah, that
Other
was a
than
fun one.
Simpsons Hit and Run for the PS2, that's like the other like penultimate Simpsons video game.
I think the only Disney game that is notorious for being bad and only because of difficulty is Lion King.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
I could never
I
get
just
past the friggin' hippos. The hippo
I
part.
just think of, I think of JonTron when I think of that game. Freaking yeah, because one of the game over screens is Simba hanging himself. Like it's messed up. You get a game over and then it just shows Simba stepping into a noose and hanging himself.
No, it was
Like the
it was such a
most
hard game.
outrageous fucking thing ever. And like I guess that's also what the game makes you feel like doing when you play it because it really was an annoying game. It's even more. It was harder than Aladdin. You
Oh,
know.
it's like 100 times harder than Aladdin. I think the Lion King had an issue with the textures, so you had to be
Yeah.
like pixel perfect when you're making jumps or attacking Scar. My sister again had to take over for that one, but even she couldn't get past the second level.
You know, another one that was hard on the Sega Genesis was Toy Story. That game was annoying as hell too.
I never played that one.
Yeah, there was the Pizza Planet level. I remember being tough. Sid's room being another tough one. There was a boss battle against Buzz and like a nightmare, and there was a lot of like stuff that pissed me off about that game.
Yeah,
But,
I was not into the hard games. I like my easy games. That's why I still play on easy difficulty.
yeah, I still do too, and I like to just enjoy the games for the most part.
Yeah, and I mean when I first got my actual system, which was the PlayStation 1, the one that was like for me. Um, I got like all these games with it, like baseball, Shrek's Treasure Hunt. I think my brother bought me, um, Rayman, all that. But I really was only interested, I think, in Celebrity Deathmatch. That was a
Hell yeah,
really
so
that was a fun game. It's really janky to go back to nowadays, but like playing as Pamela Anderson fighting a werewolf is just so funny.
yeah, yeah, Celebrity Deathmatch in general was just such a vibe. I don't think we really talked about it much in our TV show episode. I think that was one of the few ones that like slipped through the cracks. But
I didn't know it was a TV show.
yeah, Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV it was incredible. So funny. Yeah. Like yeah, Marilyn Manson, there was the episode where he cut like the lighting fixture down and crushed the Spice Girls. Howard Stern had like a alter ego called Fart Man.
That's
Like yeah, like it was crazy. Beavis and Butthead fought each other in Celebrity Deathmatch. Stone Cold Steve Austin was always in there.
mhm.
Yeah.
I
I think he
mean,
was in the game too, wasn't he? Stone Cold?
yeah, I do remember him
Yeah.
being on the cover as well.
Yeah.
So he must have been in the game. I only ever played as Pamela Anderson
Yeah.
and occasionally Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, it was a TV show on MTV, and it was like I wish they would bring that back because nowadays, especially, there's so much material that they could use. We could do like Drake versus Kendrick, and that would be like so fun.
Jake Paul versus Logan Paul.
Exactly. Like there's so much. I don't know why they haven't rebooted that series because they would. There's so much you could do. Like they brought back Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill. Like they could bring back Celebrity Deathmatch, and it would still thrive in today's world.
I feel like it's because of licensing. I feel like they would have to pay a lot of royalties to everybody, and they probably wouldn't make much of a profit afterwards.
I'm not sure because like I think they can parody the people. Like South Park parodies directly parodies celebrities and stuff. They don't have to like give them anything.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, I don't think they really have to worry about anything like that, but who knows why they don't do it? Another thing to look into, I guess, another time.
So,
um,
what was like your favorite, your ultimate video game from childhood that you go back to all the time, that you think about fondly?
um, from my childhood, the game that's my ultimate favorite would have to be Parasite Eve, for the PS1, and we haven't gotten to the PS1 yet, but when we do, there'll be a lot to talk about with that.
Hmm.
What about yours?
Well, mine, of course, is Final Fantasy VIII, but we haven't gotten to that yet. But I would
Hmm.
also say probably close to. See, I never grew up with the N64. Again, it was my brother's game, so I never got to really play it. I only snuck sessions in when he went out with friends. But I would say that GoldenEye is probably one that I actually bought a copy a couple months ago. To like, I bought an entire friggin' collection of N64 games that I never got to play. Um, so GoldenEye though was really fun because I remember that my brother and I would play like multiplayer together on it. He would
Yeah,
always win
GoldenEye
though.
was. Yeah, everybody loves GoldenEye. It's like the penultimate first-person shooter game of our childhoods, and yeah, they talk about all the games from today, and it's like you don't know shit. Like oh, I'm so good at COD, I'm so good at Fortnite, all this. It's like, bro, you would not have stood a chance back in the day playing GoldenEye with the
No,
boys.
GoldenEye was. I don't even think that I knew what I was doing half the time. I think I was just going around shooting and not like
Yeah,
completing the missions or anything.
yeah,
But
I played it not too long ago with my siblings, like my younger siblings, and I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, it's always a game that I like to go back to and play. Same with The World Never Ends, I think was a sequel to it. That
Yeah, 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 there was the other one. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. I think there's a couple different James Bonds that they made into games like on the 64, but like none of them were as obviously as successful as GoldenEye was.
yeah, they need to remake that one, honestly.
Yeah.
And I would say also because I was a majority PC gamer to begin with, which is funny because I don't actually like PC gaming anymore. But I would say like um, pretty much there was this like collection that my mom bought me on the computer that was like a bunch of these simulation games,
Hmm.
like Sims type games, but not The Sims. Um, I forget exactly what they were called, but it was like stuff that you would build your own like town and everything, and you would, it was just basic stuff. But I would always play like the PC games to begin with. I remember like Sid Meier's Pirates. I played.
Oh yeah.
That was always a good one too, and yeah, pretty much Deer Simulator. Oh, Need for Speed Most Wanted was also one of my top played games on the PC.
Yeah. Yeah. Like PC stuff I didn't get to experience till much later on, like the 2000s myself, like I said. But yeah, there was a good amount of stuff on there. I mean, the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 I know eventually became on PC as well around that time. Uh after the Genesis and all that, did you ever experience anything with the Sega Saturn?
No, we never had a Sega Saturn.
Yeah, my stepdad had one for a while. I didn't play it as much though, so I don't really have that many memories of the console and the games for it. So I think after that was probably when my dad purchased the PlayStation 1 for the first time.
Hmm.
And that is obviously like the biggest one for me. There's so much that I think we're going to spend a long time on this particular console. And then after that, we still have the Dreamcast and the Game Boy Color and all that. But yeah, PS1, I remember my dad getting it, and I remember being like just staring at the box that it came in, and it had like all these games on the back. It showed like Cool Borders 3, which was a fun little snowboarding game, and it showed like all these like different racing games, and the graphics just looked so insane to me compared to like playing Sega Genesis. Like that jump, then graphics was insane. All the polygons for the PS1. And the first game I remember really playing with my dad was Resident Evil 1, and we were scared shitless from the dogs busting through the window in the hallway. And that, oh my god, that fucking jump scare, absolutely insane. What was your first experience with the PlayStation 1?
After getting it for Christmas, like I said, I mainly played Celebrity Deathmatch for a bit, but I think I've talked about this before. I do remember the very first game for the PS1 that I bought myself, which was Matt Hoffman's BMX. And I think, I
Mm.
forget the year, I think it was 97, 98. But I remember I like had money saved up and it was a no school day because of the snow. So I went down and I bought it at our local electronics boutique. Um, and that one was so much fun because just being able to play it like on a snow day, with the snow just like piling up outside and you're just listening to like all the cool music in the game and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the sounds and the music in these games is just like it helps form these incredible nostalgic memories,
Hmm.
and it's so cool. Um, yeah, the music in Resident Evil used to scare the fuck out of me. Just everything about it did, but I loved watching my dad play it, and um, yeah, Resident Evil was a huge one for me. The voice acting in the game, obviously, something that we still laugh at today. My dad always brings that up too. It's like my dad hasn't played a video game in like 15 years now. And it's just funny when I bring up anything related to Resident Evil. Like I'm like, yeah, I got the new Resident Evil game, and then he'll just start like, he'll start quoting the first Resident Evil with Barry being like, "I hope this isn't Chris's blood. He was my friend too, you know." Like, oh man, that voice acting is so iconic in those games.
I do remember renting it at one point from Blockbuster, but I don't think I got very far because I think it was just too janky for me. Is not the right word that I want to say, but like the I wasn't used to the viewpoint that they
Yeah,
have. So it's kind of like isometric but not at the same time.
yeah, and it had the tank controls too, which
Yeah.
threw a lot of people off as well. Um, RE1 remake. that we got, in more like recent times. Well, it was like it's from the GameCube era that then they ported it over the PS4 and 5. But the remake's really good, and I heard they're remaking it again in the style of like the other remakes, like 2, 3, and 4, which I'm super excited to play it in that kind of like that. Sounds like that's going to be a super super cool like remake when they do make it.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Um, but So Resident Evil, I guess Crash Bandicoot was another one that we got like super into playing, and I actually would play that myself, and do pretty well with it. Me and my dad would try to collect all the gems, and especially Crash Bandicoot 2, which is Crash Warped was my favorite one.
That was
Crash 3, that
my favorite too.
yeah, it's still my favorite. Me and my best friend one summer we completed the game 200%, got all the gold relics and everything, got the bonus ending. We tried doing it again in the remakes, and the remakes are like 20 times harder for no fucking reason, and it pisses me off cuz like they ruined those games for me. The remakes fucking ruined the the Crash Bandicoot like experience for me. I hate them so much.
I haven't played the
They
remakes, thankfully.
Yeah, they messed them up. Like it made me mad. Like they made it way too hard. Like I'm like this is bullshit. Like no, like the requirements for some of the gold relics and time trials were ridiculous. But the Crash games and Resident Evil games were big parts of my childhood and my bond with my father. Getting to play those with him. Uh, Resident Evil 2, I have a particular funny story about. This was my best friend at the time. He was excited. It was his birthday, and Resident Evil 2 just came out on his birthday. And he was going to go to GameStop and get it as a birthday present with his aunt. And he was telling me all day at school. I remember seeing him in the lunch line, and he's like mouthing to me, like, and pointing at me. He's like, yo, yo, yo. Like, and I was like, hell yeah, dude, Resident Evil 2 after school. I know, man. I'm excited, man. Happy birthday, bro. By the way. And then, like, oh, man, I get home from school so excited. I wait the hour for him to come home from being with his aunt. Can't wait to play Resident Evil 2. He shows up at the house looking absolutely fucking defeated. I'm like, bro, what's up, man? Why are you so upset? Like, you got Resident Evil? He had a game in his hand. I'm like, you got Resident Evil 2, man? You got the game? He hands me the game. It's fucking Tarzan for the PS1.
Yo,
And I'm
don't.
like,
Yo, that's a good one though.
I'm like, Tarzan? He was like, yeah, my aunt said that the Resident Evil looked too violent. So I was like, what? I was so disappointed, so dejected about that. And I was like, what the fuck? No, dude. We were excited to kill zombies, man, not jumping around from trees and shit. This isn't what we wanted. We tried to make the best of it, but we couldn't. We were too pissed, you know? We tried playing Tarzan, we couldn't do it. The whole time we're just sitting there like, this is bullshit, dude. Like, your aunt literally just fucked everything up. She fucking ruined our goddamn day. We
Oh,
were so excited for Resident Evil 2. We had Tarzan. Oh my god. I can't even tell you if it was a good game or not because like we were too pissed. Like we gave up. Like let's just go outside. Like let's go play outside.
nah, Tarzan was good. I like that game.
Oh my god, just too violent. You can't have this. It's gonna get you Tarzan instead.
See, I'm very thankful
Mm.
that I had like, I didn't have that certain what's it called, like age requirement put on me. Like if my dad, he would check the games, but then if he was like, if I was like, oh, it's rated M or something, he'd be like, nah, just play it with your mom. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh god. So yeah, that's one of my favorite stories is the Tarzan story. That same friend, he was obsessed with Tomb Raider. He was also the same kid I talked about in way back in the beginning at the music episode. He was the one that Eminem wannabe and bleached his hair and everything. Yeah, we had a lot of adventures together as kids. But I remember him being obsessed with Tomb Raider as well, and we played that together a lot. All those we even recorded our own Tomb Raider the movie before, where yeah, I don't know how the fuck that worked, but yeah, he was Laura Croft pretty much.
Okay. In the booty
Yeah, it
shorts?
was just a random. No, we're just wearing our regular clothes. We just use our imaginations. It was like, okay, he's Lara Croft. I'm the bad guy, and we're gonna just do some action sequences and with a video camera. Like, yep, there's it. Tomb Raider the movie, everybody.
You're gonna have to dig
We
that
did
up
it
one
before.
day.
Did it before Angelina Jolie.
It,
Um,
yeah, the Tomb Raider games were really good. I didn't really play. I remember having, I think, one and two as a kid, but I think they were ones that I didn't really play as much, which I kind of regret.
yeah, they were hard games too,
I
but
yeah, I think that's why I didn't play them, was because they were hard.
they were hard but rewarding. Like, I remember once again it was a thing my dad would play, and then I would try to help him. Like, I wasn't that good. Obviously, he was the adult with the actual full developed brain, so he could figure out these puzzles and stuff better than I could figure them out. you know, I was like always stumped on that shit, and I hated the water parts. Like, I hated water in those games, and I was always drowning and shit, and it pissed me off and freaked me out. So yeah, I hated any of the levels that had a lot of diving required in it. But yeah, Tomb Raider was another very solid one for sure on the PS1. Um, I of course the ultimate thing for the PS1. Well, besides my favorite game, Parasite Eve, which I played that later on, my introduction to Squaresoft / Square Enix came with a neat little demo disc. Sidebar on the demo discs, real quick though. There used to be demo discs that would come with the Pizza Hut pizzas.
Hmm.
Pizza Hut would give you a demo disc, like yeah, with a bunch of different games on it, and um, that's where I got one of the demos that had Final Fantasy VII on it. I remember I played the Final Fantasy VII demo like for a year straight, just the demo, because that's all I like. I couldn't get the game itself, but I loved it so much, and I loved the music. Talked to my music teacher about it before. I was like, "Yo, this game has really beautiful music in it. I think you'd like it." Um, I tried explaining what it was to her, and yeah, the demo for Final Fantasy VII was so cool to me because looking back at it, the demo that I played, I guess there's two versions. The demo I played, it's the Mako Reactor mission from the beginning of the game,
Hmm.
and you have Tifa in your party though at the beginning, like from the start, like which I thought was cool. And then you get like a couple of the summonings and like some of the high level magics. I remember, I remember that being pretty cool. I guess there's also another version where Aerith is in your party as well during the Mako Reactor, which is even more like mind blowing to me that that's a thing.
I'm
Um,
sure that disc goes for a lot of money now.
yeah, yeah, it probably does. Like that's like a probably like a treasure trove right there. So yeah, I remember playing that for a year straight. And then I finally got to play Final Fantasy VII when my dad had like his income tax return, and we went to the mall, and I finally bought Final Fantasy VII at EB Games, and yeah, the rest was history there. Like Final Fantasy VII's a life changing game. Final Fantasy is in general.
See, I think I'm going to be the black sheep here because I think you already know my thoughts on Final Fantasy VII, the original.
Hmm.
Um, but I got talked into playing it when I was a kid because I was talking to a friend on AOL Messenger, and he was telling me about like this game that he was playing, and he's like, it's amazing, you have to play it, it's like an RPG, right? And I had just gotten introduced to RPGs with Final Fantasy VIII. So I was like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, well, is it anything like this game? And he's like, it's pretty much like before that game, you know? So I remember I like begged my mom to buy me this game that we saw at Walmart, and I was like, "Oh, it's supposed to be so good. Please buy it for me, please." And she's like looking it over, and she's like, "I don't know. It's like $50." And I was like, "Come
Yeah.
on, mom. I'll do my homework every day. I'll be the best student ever. I'll do all the chores. Just get it for me, please." And then she finally caved and got it for me. And I remember I was so excited. I went home and I popped it in, and I have to tell you, I was very disappointed. Like, I know people are going to hate me for this, but I did not have the same outlook at like for Final Fantasy VII as a lot of people did. I feel like it was very underwhelming coming from 8. Like for me, because I came from 8. Um, I just didn't feel the characters at the time. I kind of thought in my own mind that Cloud was copying Squall, even though I knew that the game was made before Final Fantasy 8.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, it's another emo boy. Like,
That's
another.
just,
Yeah.
that's just how Nomura is.
Yeah.
That's just the type of protagonist. We saw that with Titus as well.
Yeah. So it's like, I played through, but then I like made myself play it because my mom had bought it for me. And I got to the, I think it was the ending of the first disc where you get Sid, or you go to
Yeah,
Vincent's hometown or something.
yeah. The first disc ends with the Aerith,
Yeah,
the Aerith, yeah, Aerith death.
but the game
For a
froze.
game that's been out for 30 years.
The game froze, right? So
Yeah.
I thought like, oh, it can't be my system or anything. So I tried replaying it and everything, and it froze again in the exact same spot. And I was getting really angry because I couldn't finish this game. So I just like packed it away and never thought about it again. And I've tried to go back to 7 multiple times, like the original, but I cannot, especially after playing the remakes, I cannot go back and play 7.
Oh man, I try to make it a tradition to replay that game at least once a year. I got the platinum for the original on when they re-released that on PlayStation, and yeah, I try to make. I still have been doing it like ever since the game's been out. Like since I was like a kid, I've been trying to. I try to like make it a point to replay that one. 7 and 8 both
Yeah,
replay like
and
once a year.
it makes me sad sometimes because like so many people have such a good outlook on it. So I feel like I'm the odd one out when I'm talking about it because I'm like at the time I didn't connect with any of the characters. I didn't understand the story. And it wasn't until I played the remake actually this year that I actually started really liking the game, and I think that I like the remake a lot more, which is a
Hmm.
rarity, I think.
Yeah, no, the remake they've done a phenomenal job with both parts of the remake, and I enjoyed watching your playthrough of Rebirth a lot, and talking to you about like all the different characters and my favorite character, Yuffie, of course.
I think my favorite character is actually Aerith in the remake because I like just how
They're
sassy she
incredible.
is.
Yeah. She really was like they put so much effort into her, and Brianna White just brought that character to life like nobody ever has. Like Brianna White, I can praise that woman all day for what she's done, what she did for that character, for Aerith, and you could tell Aerith means a lot to her. Like like she's super attached to that character.
And like I think the original thing that I like the most about when people ask me like why didn't you like 7 but you like the remake is the relationship between Aerith and Tifa, because in the remake they actually like flesh out their friendship a lot,
Hmm.
and it becomes this like not love triangle thing. They actually like aren't jealous of each other. Like Aerith's helping Tifa in the long run. You know,
Aerith and Tifa are like best friends, and I love that.
Yeah, and in 7, I feel like it was constant, like in my opinion, from what I remember, I feel like they were constantly pitting against each other, and I didn't like
I
that.
think it was kind of like somewhat like implied with it, yeah, you know, which I didn't like, and like that made a lot of people not like one or the other, because of
Yeah.
it. Aerith I always liked as a character because like well actually no I didn't as a kid like on the in the original I actually didn't like her. Me and my sister both like couldn't stand Aerith at first, but I'm glad the remake exists because we got to see what she was literally like meant to be portrayed as,
Mm.
and it's great. I always thought it was weird at first that like she you know was all over Cloud because Cloud reminded her of her dead boyfriend. Like dresses the same, has a similar hairstyle and stuff. And I thought that was weird at first, but at the same time, now I do understand like that kind of like thing. Like it's an emotional connection that she had. And Cloud, yeah, Cloud did remind her of Zach, and that was like the closest thing she had
Yeah.
left of Zach. That's why she held on to Cloud the way she did. Um, and it's great the parallels of how she met Zach. Zach fell through the roof of the church, and so did Cloud. When she met Cloud, he fell through the roof of her church as well. I like to make the joke like she is probably like she'd be like Alexa, play the song "It's Raining Man."
Right? Like just
Like
this.
just Cloud falling from the sky, and then Aerith like pulls like a Quagmire moment. Dear Diary, jackpot. But yeah, Aerith was a great character, and I'm hoping that they do something further with her in part three of the remake. I hope she does still like appear again. I don't think I think that with the whole different like spoilers of for Rebirth, and for people who haven't played it, they can skip ahead. But Yeah, like I think that with the whole different, I think there's obviously two different timelines, and Zach did say to Cloud to save Aerith, and Aerith did show up and help you fight Sephiroth. So there is an Aerith somewhere in one of the timelines that's still alive,
Yeah,
obviously.
she still lives. She's still alive in Zach's timeline. So
Yeah. So I think we hopefully get to play as her and Zach. That'd be kind of cool to have like a section of the game where you play as Aerith and Zach.
where they're like helping them fight the like last
hmm
boss.
Yeah, that'd be cool just to get to play as them together, tie
Yeah,
everything together in the end.
yeah. But I mean, that was pretty much like the opinion that I had of Seven, and I know that people will probably attack me for that. So feel free.
hmm
I don't really care. But
Yeah, everybody has their opinions. A lot of people shit on eight, and eight is one of my favorite games ever. It's my favorite Final Fantasy ever, out of all of them. Eight and 13 are so, and those are like the two black sheep games, and I love them the most. So yeah, everybody can have their opinions, but it's okay for them to be wrong with about 8 and 13.
yeah, eight. I'm gonna talk about, but I want you to talk about Parasite Eve first.
Okay, yeah, Parasite Eve. I remember is another SquareSoft game, and I remember when we first got our own PS1, like the PS1 I talked about before is my dad's PS1. When he had our PS1 at my actual house where I lived with my mom and my stepdad, we got our own PS1 there as well. And um, the one of the neighbors just brought us like a whole like box of games, and Parasite Eve happened to be in there, and I that was the first thing I picked off the pile. It just looked interesting from the cover. It had the main character's face on there. I like she was in the front foreground of it, and then the background is this creepy looking bitch, like with like long arms and like a red dress and like pale skin, and her hair was all fucked up. And I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this looks fucking crazy. Like, I want to play this game, dude." Like, it was. I could tell it was a horror game. I was like, "Is this like Resident Evil?" Like, it had Eve in it, like the name, and I was like, "Is it like Resident Evil? Like Parasite Eve, Resident Evil? Okay, I want to play this." And what I experienced was, well, the opening cutscene blew my mind. Showed like New York City with the Statue of Liberty and Central Park and all that crazy stuff and all this imagery, and then all these weird creatures. And oh my God, it was like, just sitting there mesmerized staring at the screen before I even started this game up. And just the sound effects at the beginning were so neat to me. Uh, yeah, the first cutscene after you get into the opera at the beginning, and it shows Eve. Well, the Melissa was the woman's name on the stage, doing her opera singing, and then all of a sudden, everything starts going crazy. People start catching on fire and burning, and like some dude falls out of the balcony on fire and almost lands on the main character. She dodges it because she's a badass cop, and she has that ability, and then she ends up like you know, knocking out the dude that she was there with because he is being annoying as fuck about everything. Like, oh God, what the hell happened? She's like, get the fuck out of here. The whole opening sequence to that game was crazy. And you confront the woman in the dress and find out she's been possessed by this mitochondrial uh, freaking that this mitochondrial parasite that took over like the nucleus, and she is no longer the woman she was before. She's being possessed by Parasite Eve. So Melissa is now Eve, and you have to chase her throughout the game, throughout New York City, and she's causing havoc everywhere, killing more people, possessing more creatures, and mutating them, like the rat mutating. There's a dog that gets mutated into a three-headed like Cerberus. Oh my God, the game is just so cool. It's Resident Evil meets Final Fantasy, and like that's the best way I could ever explain the combat for the game. And the story, the music, everything is just so masterful to me. It's a game I can never get tired of playing. It's not doesn't take very long to play. It goes throughout 6 days. It's going through all the way up to like Christmas. So it's like all this shit's happening, in New York around Christmas time. And it's like, man, these people just want to enjoy their Christmas, but there's a fucking mitochondrial menace on the loose, unfortunately. And yeah, it also possesses a dinosaur, a T Rex, in the museum. and you got to fight that and all the other dinosaurs that it possesses. And yeah, it's based off of a novel, and which also spawned a movie in Japan. And this is well, it's a sequel to the novel in the movie. The movie is really really good, and I recommend it. The book is super graphic and even better than the movie. It's hard to get a hold of, like a legal copy of the book. I think it's like a couple $100 to find a copy of Parasite Eve, the book.
Hmm.
But the movie you can find on YouTube, I think. Um, I highly recommend it. I think it's like horror at its finest, and like body horror even at its finest. Every type of horror like you could think of, and all into one. It's a masterful game. Parasite Eve 2 was another good game, but not as incredible as the first game. And then they made the third birthday for the PSP, which I don't even acknowledge as a Parasite Eve game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't acknowledge the third birthday. It was fucking horrible.
Oh,
Hold up.
was it? Not worth the time. Oh, it's okay. I
Yeah,
just paused.
have the editor go. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, no, yeah, Parasite Eve 3 was the third birthday. I don't consider it a Parasite Eve game because to me it like I don't know, they ruined everything. They bastardized the one of my favorite characters, Maidea. He was the Japanese scientist who he was like such a shy like dude in the first game, and he totally had a crush on the main character Aya. Like and like he helped her out so much and gave her like these little Japanese good luck charms and shit. And he was such a like such a cool character. It was really a cute little dynamic he had with her. And he's always like nervous around her and stuff. In the third birthday, it wasn't even you can tell like it was not even the same people like writing this character. They made him like a pervert, like, and he was weird, and he like created different outfits for her, like a Santa outfit, like with a short skirt and all that. And I'm like, no, dude, that's not him. That's not my shy little fucking nice dude that gave her good luck charms all the time. Man, you fucking ruined my boy.
Oh.
Yeah. So like yeah, for that character in particular, they really did bastardize him. So I don't consider the third birthday a Parasite Eve game. I don't like they ruined that character, they ruined Aya's character. They ruined all the characters in that. So Parasite Eve 1, iconic video game, and if they ever remake it, that'll be incredible.
I think
But
there is actually a remake announced.
there's a new game, a new indie game that's coming out that's like heavily based on Parasite Eve, which looks really really cool. I think that might be the game you're thinking of.
Oh, okay, yeah, by the Chinese studio.
Yeah, yeah, that game looks cool. Um, I'll definitely play it, but I really do hope that they remake Parasite Eve 1 one day, or at least I want to port like they could port the game to like PS5 with like trophies and stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's
It's my
not on
favorite.
the what's it called? The Classics collection.
Yeah, there's a lot of games on the classic collection that have been coming up. I recently got Soul Calibur 3, I think. They're putting everything but Parasite Eve and Xenogears on there, which is pissing me off because those are like two games that everybody's been asking for years.
Yeah, I think I played. Is it Xenogears I'm thinking of? The one I keep confusing them because there's so many RPGs on the PS1. Because you did ask me if I played it. I have played it. I never beat it, but I have played it. I just looked it up. I remember that character.
Yeah, Xenogears was a super fun game.
Yeah, Xenogears was really fun too.
Yeah, Xenogears was super good. The it's considered incomplete because the second disc, obviously they had to rush it, so like it's a lot of text to read, and then like some battles mixed in with it, so they would have to re-expand upon it. I talked about it in like a video that I put on my YouTube channel. They would have to if they remade it, they could finally flesh out that second disc and let it breathe, and that'd be really cool. Um, Second disc was basically like a lot of reading. Because they were like, here, we're just gonna dump a bunch of lore and say here's what happened, this, and you don't get to play through a lot of it. It's just telling you what happens, and then there's a bunch of battles mixed in. But that first disc is peak, so the game was on the right track.
Yeah,
It
I think
just
I
didn't
only got to
have the
the.
resources.
I think I only really got to the first disc, and then I stopped playing it.
Yeah, it didn't have the resources at the time, and with the popularity of not Xenosaga, Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade games, in general, which is the same guy who made those games. He founded Monolith Soft after he left Square,
Hmm.
and he made those games. If he could get the rights back somehow and just make Xenogears again, I think it'd be incredible. Bring over all the fans that played Xenoblade and say, hey, this is, if he endorses it, puts a stamp on it, it'll do well. The Xenosaga was another one that came out as well, which were really cool games for the PS2 later on. Just yeah, the Xeno franchise. A lot of people don't really. It sucks. Like a lot of people only know about Xenoblade. Like they don't know about the origins of it.
Yeah, they should remake that series too,
hmm
but they
Yeah,
won't.
Xenogears and Xenosaga, all that would be cool to see again.
I feel like it wasn't popular enough to remake.
Yeah, at least put it on the classics catalog though, so it's there. You
Yeah,
know, it's like it belongs. It's part of history and it deserves to be preserved. I feel like.
no, 100%. I feel the same way.
Mm. And that's like only like a couple of the RPGs on the PS1. I feel like obviously Final Fantasy VIII is something I want to hear you talk about before I talk about my personal experiences with it.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy VIII was my first introduction into role playing games, and uh, like my father actually bought it for me shortly after I got my PlayStation. And I just remember, like, I'm not 100% sure what caught me first. I think it was the cover because I didn't even know what Final Fantasy was at the time. Like, I had no knowledge of anything. But it was the cover that really got me because it was just a cover of, like, Squall, Renoa, and then the sorceress in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, this is so cool. And I read the back, and it was something about, like, a sorceress war and, like, time skips and everything, and I was like, this sounds so cool, and begged my dad to get it for me along with Nine. So he got me both, but I didn't get to play Nine until later because he hid it away for me until my birthday. And I put it in. I think I replayed the opening like 600 times as a kid.
Oh my
Like
god,
I just kept replaying it.
so iconic.
It
I love that opening.
Yeah, and like the music, it was the music immediately that got me. It was like the choir
hmm
music and like the operatic music, and
Yeah, and
I
I just get goosebumps.
yeah, like I listen to the soundtrack daily. Like it's just one of my constant music like everyday music things. Um but I had no idea what I was doing with the actual junction system, so I played the game wrong for the first probably I want to say 20 years almost. Um, until my friend and I finally played it together, and I would go over to her house like every single night, or every single morning, and we would play until nighttime, and then I would return home and go back in the morning, and we could not figure out what we were doing wrong, and I finally looked it up, and I was like, I don't know why, but it just clicked after all those years. I was like, damn, I understand the draw system now, the junction system. And she just looks at me and she's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. She was like, we've been on this last boss for like, it's been at least 10 hours that we were trying to beat this boss. And you're
Oh
telling me
man,
that we did not do anything properly. And I was like, I'm sure it's still beatable. No, we just did the trick where you open up the PlayStation when it's still
yeah,
running and you get selfies,
yep,
the end.
yeah. Selfie. Oh my god, most OP character in Final Fantasy history. When you think about the fact that she has access to a spell that could one shot even the final boss and all the hidden bosses like Omega Weapon and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And like it was just the story that always gets me. Like I play it every year, at least once a year. Even if I don't beat it, I still play it. It's a game that I play when I'm feeling homesick. It's a game that I play when I'm sad. It's just like it's my ultimate game that I will always go back to because I just love the story. I love the romance between Squall and Renoa. I love how it was built up throughout the game. Um, I know there's plot holes in it. It's not a perfect game. You know, I'm well aware of the, Squall is dead theory and Renoa is actually a sorceress theory, but I don't really care about all that. I just care about what I can actually see, you know?
No, I absolutely agree with you. Final Fantasy VIII story is incredible. The music's like you can say that about any Final Fantasy game. The music and the story is incredible though. But yeah, Final Fantasy VIII is definitely a special one for sure. It's my favorite Final Fantasy game. Yeah, Squall and Renoa's story. It's my favorite story of like any of the romances in that series in Final Fantasy is like theirs is my favorite story. I love their story. And I love especially the fact that it was like destined to be in a way because it was what their parents couldn't be. Like Squall's parents, like Squall's dad Laguna, which I mean, they never like straight up like came out and said that's his dad, but it's obvious that's his dad. Laguna
Mm-hmm.
is Squall's dad, and he was in love with Julia, who was Renoa's mom, and she was the piano player at the bar, and he never got to get with her. But she wrote the song "Eyes on Me," which is the song that they play for Squall and Renoa whenever they're up in space together when he rescues her.
Oh my god,
Um,
it's my favorite scene.
that that scene is so freaking emotional, and it still gets me every time. That song gets me. That song is so good.
that
Like I
that
love that song,
that song
and
is
it's just
going. Sorry.
just knowing that that's a yeah,
No,
just
like
knowing like sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, it's like just knowing that in the story that's Julia's song that she wrote for Laguna, but she never got to be with him because she died in an accident, like
Hmm.
a car accident. I think is how she died. But like she never got to be with Laguna, but you know their kids ended up meeting and getting together, and that's like that's like magic, you know.
Yeah, and like it's just like that song is going to be my wedding song. I don't care.
Yeah,
That's my one condition for whoever I marry is that that has to be
yeah,
the first dance song.
fuck yeah. That's
A-
awesome. Like that's the best. I remember I talked to a woman who had that song as well for her wedding, which is awesome.
And like I
Yeah, like
just
that's
and I remember my best friend at the time whenever I would she moved like down south, so it was like a good like 3 hours away and I couldn't get down to see her as often anymore. And I remember I was going up for like 3 days to visit her and she played through Final Fantasy VIII all the way to the spaceship section because she knew it was my favorite. And we just sat and we just cried and just watched it together. Like she loves Final Fantasy VIII as much as I do, and
yeah.
like I can't say enough about the game. Like I think it's just the perfect game when it comes to getting those emotions out. Like they did
Hmm.
everything so perfectly with Squall being closed off and then accepting that he actually did have friends who loved him and cared about him.
Hmm.
And like
Yeah.
Renoa being the patient and understanding, but yet kind of also pushy um,
Hmm.
personality, and then everybody else just kind of accepting Squall for who he was.
Yeah. In Final Fantasy VIII, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that my best friend of 17 years, the first day I met him, I was over at a mutual friend's house playing Final Fantasy VIII, and Zell was on the screen, and he was doing, his Zell things, like being like fucking obnoxious in the game, like his how his character was obnoxious and abrasive. And well, this kid came over, and I was like, "Yo, you kind of remind me of this fucker on the game. I'm gonna start calling you Zell." And it stuck. And then my family knows him as Zell. He's my best friend for the past 17 years. And Final Fantasy VIII is a big part of that, which I think is kind of cool too, because it's, that ties right into, it's being it's my favorite game, and that's just another like cool like thing about the game, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so like yeah, that's him. I'm
And like
like, yep, that's you, man.
I have a cool Zell story too. Like when my friend and I were playing through it for that marathon because it was our last summer together before we both went off to university, like different universities across the country. Um, she was playing the jail section. I remember this so vividly because it was so epic. I don't think I've ever been able to do this. It's the jail part where Zell has to go off and find their weapons.
Hmm.
and he gets into a fight with Biggs and Wedge, and she was really low on HP. But in Final Fantasy VIII, when you're low on HP, your limit
Limit
break
break.
hits. So
Yes.
she was just keeping the limit break going as fast as she could, and I think she actually did beat them with just her limit break. And we just celebrated, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And she's like, "That was so cool!" Like it's
Yeah, yeah, good at those button combinations for his limit break. You had to be like really good with those combos.
yeah, and it's like just those memories are what keeps
Hmm.
me going back to Final Fantasy VIII.
Hmm. Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII's just a true epic of a game.
Yeah, that's my story about the PlayStation 1. I mean, I had lots of other games that I played for the PlayStation 1, but Final Fantasy 8 and 9, of course, it would be criminal if I didn't at least mention 9 as well. 9 was a really good game. Maybe not the exact impact that I had with 8, but it was still one of my favorites.
Yeah, nine was another friend of mine's favorite. It still is his favorite one. Um, I always ranked it like lower on the list myself, but in recent years I've grown quite fond of Final Fantasy IX in recent years. So yeah, but like back then it wasn't that big for me. Eight and seven were like a lot bigger for me, and then even when I eventually got to play like five and six and four and all those, they were ranked higher too. But yeah, nine's not a bad game. It's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, nine's pretty good.
Um, does that wrap up PS1 for now, or
I believe
are there
so.
any like, things? Okay, because like I'm sure there's a lot of other ones that we could talk about, but we have other consoles still to discuss, and probably some big stories on those. We gonna do the Game Boy Color or the Sega Dreamcast?
Well, I didn't have a Sega Dreamcast or a Game Boy Color, so I'm gonna let you take that because I don't have as many memories with either of
Oh,
those
okay.
consoles.
I remember the Sega Dreamcast was revolutionary for its time because it was the first console to feature the internet. There was a web browser on the Sega Dreamcast. And what year did the Dreamcast come out? Was it in the 90s?
I think it was like 98.
Hmm,
I'm just
the
looking it up.
Dreamcast, yeah, 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we had one in the web browser was on it, and that was cool. I don't have like a bunch of memories other than I played on the web browser a lot, like on that. Like I remember that a lot, and then the game Gauntlet Legends and Hoyle Casino and a bunch of like other like small games. I don't think I really got into like Shenmue or any of those games. I got them like way later on PlayStation.
Hmm.
But Shenmue was a big thing. It's like Yakuza for its time. Um, those were good games, but unfortunately, like yeah, the Dreamcast, the my main memory is always going to be playing on the web browser. Um, Game Boy though, of course, Game Boy Color Pokemon was huge for me. Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red. I remember getting those for the first time, and that was during Pokemania when that was like the big deal. Everything was Pokemon at the time. I believed all the schoolyard rumors that you can get Mew from a truck in that game, from by the boat by the St. Anne. By you can go to Bill's backyard in the game and catch like legendary Pokemon. I believed all that stuff. I tried all those exploits and stuff. They didn't work. There is a actual glitch to get Mew in Pokemon Red that I didn't know about as a kid. That you can get him with a glitch, but I didn't know about that. I played Pokemon Yellow, and I remember being obsessed with that for the longest time. I have a story about Pokemon Gold and Silver. A couple stories about Pokemon Gold. When the game came out, my friend had it pre-ordered, and his mom wouldn't take him to get it. She said she'll get it for him the next day. So he had to walk. He walked 15. I thought it's 15. Yeah, it's got to be at least like, yeah, at least like 15 miles. Like that's crazy. They think about it now. Like that's a long way to walk. He walked to the game store to get it, and we were in like middle school still, man.
Jeez.
I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it, but he did it, and he went to the game store and got the game. I don't know how he did it. Don't ask, but he did. He made it, and he said he was on. I remember he got back home. He was on like the fourth gym already when he got home. I was like, that's hardcore dedication right there for that game. You could have had your mom just get it for you the next day, but you didn't want to wait, so you walked to the game store to pick it up.
Right? That's the type of stubbornness that I also had as a kid.
Yeah, impatient. And another story about Pokemon Gold was kid. I got Pokemon Gold on that same day as well, and there was a kid at recess who wanted to play it, so I gave him my Game Boy in the game, and he's like just playing around in it on the game for a little bit. He's like, "Oh, sweet," and it was at recess, and he was doing it within vision of our teacher, and yeah, that pissed me off because guess what? I got that Pokemon Gold game. I enjoyed it for one day, and I didn't get it back till the end of the school year because this dumbass let the teacher see him with it. Took my Game Boy and my game. I didn't get it back till the end of the year.
Hmm.
So I didn't get to finish Pokemon Gold, and I had to watch all my friends play it and talk about it for the whole year. And I'm like, yeah, I have that game. It's in the teacher's desk though. I ain't gonna be able to get it back. Pissed me off that they were able to do that kind of shit back in the day.
I know I had quite a few things taken away from me as a kid too.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, it was recess, bro. Like, just give it a rest, man. We're out here playing, dude. Just let us have our games. Um,
Now I do remember, like I do have a memory with the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. Again, I don't know where the Game Boy came from. I couldn't tell you who got it for me. Um, I think it was my grandmother, if I'm remembering correctly. I think I mentioned earlier she got me a Game Boy, but it was Link's Awakening, and it was just like this random game that my parents had picked up for me. So I had no idea about any sort of, I wasn't aware of the lore or anything of it, and I actually really like that one. It's my favorite Zelda game that I've ever
Link's
played.
Awakening.
Hmm.
I think it's one of the best Zelda games ever. So yeah, it's definitely it's a top tier. It's one of the if there's a top 5 Zelda games, that's in there. It's got to be.
Yeah, and I do remember playing that, like waiting for my mom on the steps at home when I was locked out, because she got tired of me breaking in through the window. So I I would wait outside and just like play Link's Awakening, but it was hard in the sunlight because the screens weren't really made for direct sunlight, so you couldn't see
Hmm.
the game while you're playing. So I'd have to go over to like the neighbors and hide under their trees and everything. But I never really played like I did play Pokemon obviously, but it wasn't like because it was more like a social thing. So a lot of the kids were playing it at school, but I didn't get into it until later because um, it was just something that my parents didn't get me, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, the Game Boy I've like had so many cool like little attachments to. I remember there was a light that I had for the Game Boy, like so I could play it at nighttime. Like it would shine on my screen at night, and I could play it, and that was pretty cool. There was the Game Boy printer people had where they could print pictures off from their Game Boy. In particular, if you get the diploma for completing the Pokedex, you could print that out with the
Hmm.
Game Boy printer. I always wanted to have one. Wish I did. I wish I had a little Pokemon diploma from completing my Pokedex because when the link cable was a thing, I remember, um, yeah, getting one of those and then a second Game Boy and trading myself all these Pokemon to get that to complete the Pokedex. um, so that was also super cool. The Game Boy had a lot of neat little things to it. I remember breaking one of my Game Boys in like a fit of rage before,
Oh no, my mom would have
slamming it.
killed me.
The shit sucked because it was like I broke that Game Boy, and that same Christmas I got a Game Boy and a link cable because my parents were like, "Oh, we wanted you to have 2 Game Boys and be able to trade yourself, and but you broke the other one." I'm like, "Motherfucker." That was the worst luck ever. I'm like, "Yo, damn." I broke it like right before Christmas, and then I ended up getting, well, at least I got a replacement Game Boy, but still I was supposed to have two so I could trade Pokemon to myself between the different games. I had to wait once again to get another Game Boy to achieve that later on.
Yeah, I
But
wish I wish I still had my Game Boy, but I don't know what happened to it. I think it just got lost in the um, the between growing up and moving away for school and everything. I think it just got sent away at some point.
yeah, lost to time.
Yeah. But I don't really have as many memories with the Game Boy because it wasn't a thing like a system that I spent a lot of time with. Like I played the Tetris on the original Game Boy, um, Mario, but and also Link's Awakening. But that was pretty much the only ones that I remember playing as much.
Yeah, I think I have some memories of the N64, but like I think those were all in the 2000s. So I played Pokemon Stadium and all that, but that was later on in the 2000s. I think a lot of the other Game Boy memories. Um, when did the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons come out? Because I remember those as well. I have some good memories of those. When did they come out though? 2001 was the Oracle games. Yeah, that was later on. But so those were other good Zelda games that came out at the time back in the day for the Game Boy Color and stuff. Or that actually I think they were Game Boy Advance. I don't know. I do. Yeah, they're for color, Game Boy Color. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons were connected games as well. So they kind of tried like the Pokemon thing, and you could get like different stuff in the games if you play both of the games.
Hmm.
So those were other top tier Zelda games that I really like. The Oracle games are up there too. I played them again on an emulator not too long ago. Super fun games. They still hold up pretty well.
I,
Uh, so yeah, let's hear it for the handheld Zelda games because they were good. Link's Awakening and the Oracle games are among some of my favorite Zelda games. So
yeah, they were very
the
good.
handheld, yeah. I didn't like this is another like side note because it's not to do with the 90s, but I didn't like I don't like the newer Zeldas. I don't like the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I don't like those. I like the older Zelda games. Like I love Twilight Princess and I love the Wind Waker and all those other Zelda games. Like I love those. I wish they could go back to that.
Yeah, I do like those. I own Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and those were two that I never got to play as a kid because I didn't have a GameCube or a Wii or pretty much I would never get another system to myself until PS4, where I bought it myself. No, sorry,
Hmm.
PS3. But yeah, the Zelda games were something that I never really got 100% into until I actually do have a good story about Ocarina of Time,
Hmm.
and it wasn't specifically with the N64 version. It was the the 3DS version.
Ooh.
And my best friend, and we went to schools pretty not too far from each other, but we still had to take like a bus to each other, which took probably about 2 hours or something. I went to school on an island, which was pretty isolated from the rest of the world, connected by one bridge. So when we went home for Christmas, we went back to school, and she came back to my dorm. And turns out that all the buses off this island were canceled because of a snowstorm. Now, it's like we were like, oh crap, what are we gonna do? Because we don't know when it's gonna, open, like when the bridge is gonna open again. So we ended up for 3 days, I think it was 2 or 3 days. We just made this huge pot of soup and we played through Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, like both of us at the same time.
Hmm.
And I think that Ocarina of Time still isn't a Zelda game that I think I would have played as a kid, but I have to appreciate the effort put into it.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I recently played those again on the Switch. Yeah, they're good games. Majora's Mask is kind of a little much for me, but it's still a pretty good one. Ocarina of Time still, I think, still blows Majora's Mask out of the water as much as Majora's Mask is a pretty cool game as in itself. But yeah, the ones that I ended up really falling for were the handheld ones, and then of course the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess game.
So, fun fact, sidebar, my friend Kai, who also makes our thumbnails for us,
Hmm.
he beat Ocarina of Time on the N64 with a fishing rod controller that he picked up in Japan.
That's incredible,
Yeah,
honestly.
it was actually pretty hard. So that if you want to check that out, I'll link his channel anyway because I link his channel for credit for the thumbnail.
Hmm. Yeah,
So it's a pretty fun run that he did.
that's actually a really creative thing to do. I love that.
I would play the. I want to stream the Twilight Princess, but setting everything up is just kind of annoying, to be honest.
Mm, yeah, those high seas things are tough.
No, I meant I actually have a legit copy, but setting up the
Oh,
actual
you do?
Wii is just,
Okay.
yeah, it's just kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Uh, yeah, I would love them to. I think actually, I think Oracle of Ages and Seasons are available to play on the Switch now. I do believe
I think
that
so,
they're on
yeah.
the. So that's cool too. So anybody can go back and experience those games now,
Yeah.
and I recommend they do if they like Zelda games. The Oracle of Ages and Seasons are good games, very fun. They didn't come out till 2001, but oh well, we're mentioning them here anyway.
Right, right. Might as well. I mean, it all ties into each other anyway.
Yeah, same thing with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, 2000s games. Those for GameCube. But yeah. Oh, Medieval's another PS1 game we didn't talk about. With he plays Dan Fortescue, a hero that died in the war, and yeah, he goes. He's in a world called Gallowmere, and he's like going all these different stages, and there's like a cemetery stage and a mausoleum and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he gets different weapons, and he goes to a hall of heroes and talks to all his fallen comrades, and they give him other weapons and stuff. Have you ever played that game?
I haven't actually, no. That wasn't one that I
No.
played.
That's a big one for me and my best friend Zell. We play that one still quite a bit. Like we replay it a lot. It's a very very good game. Uh, we didn't talk about Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, I did have that as a kid. I did have that. Actually, no, not as a kid. That was one that I bought with my own money later on to play when you could play on PS1 games on the PlayStation 3.
Mhm.
So I did buy it then. I don't. I never beat it, so it's not one that I actually can really say anything about. But I do want to play the remake that recently released.
Yeah, yeah, that would be pretty cool to see you play through that. Yeah, the remake's cool. It's really neat. I'm glad that they finally brought Final Fantasy Tactics to modern consoles.
Yeah, it's a very good game. It was kind of different from what the Final Fantasy series was, which was just strict, turn based, and then, they're adding in this tactics like game, kind of like I guess they were following in Fire Emblem's
Yeah, Fire
style.
Emblem, any of the other tactics games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was
Yes,
inventative.
strategy RPG.
Yeah,
Yeah, SRPGs are like super fun.
I have mixed opinions on them because like I liked Fire Emblem Three Houses and I liked Fire Emblem Awakening, but I didn't like. I don't like SRPGs as much as turn based RPGs. I just feel like there's too much involved going on at the same time that I get a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I love Fire Emblem Three Houses. That was incredible. Um, do you remember who you chose to romance in that game?
Um, what's her name? The one from the German sounding one. Ada.
Um, wait, which one?
um, what's her name? Three Houses. She was one of the leaders. What's her name? I'll get it. Just give me 1 second. Edelgard.
Oh, okay, Edelgard.
Yeah, I never.
Yeah,
I wanted to go for Dimitri or Claude, but then I was like, I want to see where Edelgard Edelgard goes.
I went with Hilda actually, a pink
Hilda.
haired girl.
Hilda.
Yeah,
Oh, she was sweet.
yeah, she was awesome. Yeah, I went with Hilda, the big axe that she had and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like her.
Cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. I
I've
was like,
actually
this woman's cool. Yeah.
I've been wanting to replay this one. You know what I was telling my friend when we were out shopping last weekend? I was telling her that I gave her my copy of Fire Emblem. Oh, what was it? Fire Emblem. It was one of the ones for the Game Boy that I bought a long time ago for myself. Shadow Dragon, I think it was called.
Shadow Dragon?
I think so. That was one though that I gave it to her because I absolutely couldn't stand the game. And I was like, I can't. I beat the game, and I basically at the end just threw all my characters into the fight because I just didn't care about them at all. And I found out that this game actually goes for like $200 now, and I gave it away to her for free. And I was like, damn it.
Oh my god. One game that we've been mentioning every single week that I don't know why I it slipped my mind. The week that we were supposed to talk about video games, it's Metal Gear Solid. Um, it's a game that another one of those games that like changed my life in a way. Like I learned so much from Metal Gear. I remember like being able to like quote so many different things from the game at school
Mm.
verbatim in like first or second grade, and teachers thinking I was like a genius because of it. Metal Gear Solid, yeah, definitely was super fun, and another game that I played with my best friend at the time, from childhood, the Eminem kid. Um, then yeah, the Hideo Kojima. I just wanted to give him a special shout out. We didn't do a shouts out for anybody in this episode, but anybody deserves a shouts out. It's Hideo Kojima, freaking one of the most prolific and revolutionary game devs in history. Love what he's doing today with Death Stranding, and I love the. I'm excited for his project with Jordan Peele. Hideo Kojima pushed the boundaries with every single game he's ever made, and in Resident Evil, him Metal Gear Solid One, he did something incredible that like I was talking to a friend about this the other night. Like, how did he even think to do something like this? Like, nobody would have thought to do this but him. And that was in there's a boss in Metal Gear called Psycho Mantis, and he's known for reading people's minds. And he like dodges all your attacks unless you can find like a way to stop him. One of the main thing that you can do is you can shoot the statues of his face and shoot the mask off of them, and it distracts him to see his own face, distracts him. But there's other things you can do. One of them was if you switch your controller port from controller 1 to controller 2. If you switch your port, he can't read your mind anymore.
Hmm.
And that like it like stun locks him, and he's like confused. He's like, why can't I read your mind? And like just to think of something like that, like to think of something to do that with the PlayStation hardware. Kojima's a genius for that. Like who would have thought of that? Like as a thing, like that would affect the boss switching controller ports on him, and also the fact that he could read your memory card and tell you if you've saved often or tell you if you're careless. He could read certain games. If you had Konami games on there, he would read them like out and stuff, like to you and stuff. Like it was such a cool boss battle and so different. Kojima has always done stuff like that with each of his subsequent releases. He's done so much in PS3 with Metal Gear 4. It was like a movie. Like that game looks more. It looks more beautiful than any game on like some games on PS4 and even PS5. Metal Gear 3 or 4 on PS3. If you can believe that, like you push that hardware to its limits with the PS3, and yeah, Hideo Kojima. Special shouts out to that guy. Um, One of a kind, truly. And I'm always excited when he comes up with a new game. It's always something unique. But I definitely am glad that I remembered to bring up Metal Gear Solid, and yeah, Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, the Metal Gear series was one that my friend was always more into than I was. But I did play the original when my brother had it on PlayStation 1, but I didn't get very far. All I was doing was running around, and it's like the music that's going, and they're like, I can see you, I can see you. And like the alarm thing's going off, so you have to hide. And I had no
Oh my
idea what
god.
I was doing. I was just running around for like hours at a time, not even caring. I'm like, why am I not getting any farther in this game? What am I supposed to do? I did.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just like I think it's crazy that like so many kids watching their brain rot videos or just any videos these days don't know where that sound comes from.
Oh yeah,
That
the
one,
Bing sound. Yeah.
they don't know where that sound comes from. They
Well, I mean, to be
like they
fair, yeah,
don't hear. Yeah,
I can see
it's
it
crazy.
because it is a game that was released like, back in like what 1997, 98.
Yeah, it's just crazy that that's like a viral sound effect.
And
And
like,
every time I hear it, it's like the synapses in my mind all go off at once. I'm like, yeah, I'm right back in on Shadow Moses Island again, and with Solid Snake. Every time I hear that,
I know I have the remakes, I guess, or the ports. I don't know what they are. I bought it on a gift card that I got at Best Buy, but I think it's the first two, three games. I don't know, but I have to play that eventually.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing quite like Metal Gear Solid. It's a ride. Metal Gear Solid 5 even is such a great fucking game. I put Metal Gear Solid 5 in the same category as Final Fantasy 15 in terms of like it's this game that is considered incomplete and is hated on for that reason, but it's got so much to appreciate about it. Beautiful game. Metal Gear Solid 5 was the last one that we got to have before Kojima was, you know, let go by Konami, which is the stupidest decision that company could have made. You let go of the greatest game developer,
Yeah.
like like ever. Like you let go of this guy as a complete genius, and now the Metal Gear Solid series can't continue because without him it can't. But I'm glad he landed on his feet, founded his own studio. Death Stranding's doing amazing. People love Death Stranding. I have a friend who um, she's like really big into those games. So I tried with it. I appreciate the concept. I love the concept and I love the story of the games. But playing it is different for me because like I don't think it's my type of like game. Like the delivering of the packages and stuff, I get stressed out too easily with like if like I fall over and lose all my packages, have to pick them all up, and then getting attacked by the freaking monsters and shit. Like I rage quit on it. I played it during the pandemic, the first game. Um, I even got like the PS4 special edition Death Stranding PS4 Pro with the cool little controller and everything.
Hmm.
The con, yeah, everything. Like it got like all that shit. And yeah, it's a good game. Like I can see why people love it. I don't hate it. I just it's not something that I'm able to like really play, if that makes sense. But I
Yeah.
do think some
Yeah.
what do you think with it?
That was not one that I did play it. I got it free on PSN, but I didn't. I don't think that I was in the right mindset or I really understood what was happening, and I just can't get into that game, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, Kojima's always pushing limits and trying new things and making unique narrative driven experiences. And yeah, he's definitely like someone for any artist to look up to. I think I mentioned this last week. I think it was on the podcast that I mentioned about like my own approach to art is like finding the negative space and filling in those negative spaces, and that's definitely describes Kojima to a T as well. That's he's a very unique guy.
Yeah, and yeah, that was like I think it's really cool to talk about the video games, because like we said at the beginning, video games took up a majority of our childhood. I think
Hmm.
more so than like movies and TV shows and that.
Yeah, it was huge for me, and it still is to this day. Like we could do more video game related episodes going forward, and it would never get old for me. They could keep going and going and going. Like I could do a video game podcast. Like there's a friend of mine that still wants to do one of those as well.
Yeah, we could definitely do more in terms of the video games too, because there's just always so much to talk about. Because the whole basis of where we are, is because of video games.
Hmm.
Essentially.
That's why we're talking right now.
Yeah, like we wouldn't have met if he hadn't popped in on one of my streams. Which no, I met you originally through my Final Fantasy VIII video.
Yep. Yeah, I commented on that video, and yeah, I was like, yo, that was such a good love letter to the game. You did a perfect job encapsulating like the feelings, of like, person experiencing that game. And I remember just hearing, yeah, I thought it was awesome. I was like, yo, this is great. Like hearing the way you like poured your heart out about that game. Like I love that. That kind of passion is something that I respect a lot. And yeah, it's the same thing with the Final Fantasy 13 video that we're working on. Um,
Yes, that I'm
you
still
know,
editing.
yeah, she's editing it for me, and yeah, that's the same type of principle. It's just like I love hearing someone, who's passionate about like something, and yeah, really pouring out their feelings. And video essays are such a cool like outlet for that.
No, they are 100%.
But yeah, this was a big one. I'm just trying to make sure we didn't leave out anything that I'd be kicking myself for not mentioning later on. I'll be about to fall asleep tonight and I'll be like, "Oh, son of a bitch, we didn't mention that."
Well, even if we did,
um,
I'm sure we'll do more video game related
yeah, we'll
episodes.
talk about it again. Um, I think we got like the major things out of the way that like I just can't believe that I almost forgot Metal Gear when I literally have talked about it in every episode of the podcast. Because like we got so many other games that we started talking about that I almost left Metal Gear out.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things we can do too. Like, we could have an entire podcast dedicated just to Final Fantasy, to be honest. Like, one episode.
Yeah,
Because you mentioned that you played six later on in your life, so that would be something interesting to hear.
yeah. I played 6 and 5 and all those later on, and then of course now we have the pixel remasters of all those games, and that's like everything's widely accessible for us. We have like the entire series, all 16 games now, like super accessible, and that's awesome because as a kid it was like so disjointed. It was hard to find a lot of the Final Fantasies
I
that
act-
weren't 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 10, 12. Like the first six were like almost like impossible to find until they started making remakes of them.
yeah, like I
And
remember playing two, I think it was on the Super Nintendo, but it was lent to me by. He wasn't really a friend. I don't really know our relation to each other. I think he was a friend of a friend. And I felt bad because I never gave it back to him. Like, I still have it. It's been, well, since high school, so probably a good like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 years. So
jeez.
I've had that game for 21 years, and I still have not beat it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 2 is super fun. The Pixel Remaster is at least like it got they made it way better. But the Pixel Remaster is probably the best way to experience the game.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I
A
have to
lot easier to grind in
pick
that
that one
game.
up.
Yeah. But yeah, like Saturday Night Slam Masters is another Sega Genesis game I remember that was a wrestling game by like the Street Fighter team.
Hmm.
And so it's like Street Fighter but in a wrestling ring, and that was really cool. That's another one my dad bought for me once when I was little. So I mentioned that one real quick before we leave because that's one I thought about for a little bit earlier and then it slipped my mind again. Saturday Night Slam Masters was cool. Mortal Kombat obviously is another one.
Yeah.
I used to go to school and talk about it, and that's why I got sent to the psychiatrist because they said I was not right in the head because I talked about like ripping people's skeletons out, but I was talking about a video game. Okay, I wouldn't do that in real life
I would hope
unless like
not.
somebody really really pissed me off.
I would hope not.
Yeah, like you really have to have done something for me to do that.
And my sister always cheated at that game, and she still thinks she didn't to this day. But she would always. I mean, the Mortal Kombat for the Super Nintendo was just a hard game, period. I
Hmm.
think we can all agree on that. That the controls were janky. It was just a hard game. But she would
Hmm.
always, like, just find a way to, when we were supposed to be fighting against each other, just find a way to cheat and win. And I would point it out, and she'd be like, I'm not cheating. But she always cheated in everything that we did. Candyland, I remember specifically, she was cheating.
Cheating in Candyland is insane.
Yeah, I know. It's such an easy game. And she still cheated in it.
God.
So she would cheat in Candyland. She cheated in Mortal Kombat. She cheated in like the Street Fighter games.
Oh my God, dude. Like, how the fuck are you gonna cheat on fucking Candyland?
It was a big sister syndrome. So she had to make sure that she was beating my butt in every game.
Oh my God. Oh crap, another game for the Sega that I didn't bring up was Golden Axe. I had a lot of fun in Golden Axe.
I do remember
Yeah.
that one, but I don't think I played it. I think that was when I watched my brother play.
Yeah, Golden Axe was a fun one. It's a lot better with a friend, with a co-op person playing it with you though. Um,
See, I didn't have a
yeah.
lot of friends when I was growing up, so I really only had my siblings. So I didn't get to
Yeah.
experience the whole going to people's houses and playing video games with them until later on in high school when I reunited with my best friend after she had moved.
Yeah.
And I just remember that we would play like Jackass, the video game, Final Fantasy X. I would watch her play through because it's one of her favorites. And
Hmm.
it's the same friend that always that played through the Final Fantasy VIII to make sure she got to the space part before I came up to visit her.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I didn't have the same social aspect because I hung out with people who didn't play video games. So I hung out with like a bunch of people who were more into like TV shows and that, and just like hanging out, like going to the mall and everything. But I wasn't really like a mall person because we didn't have a lot of money as kids. Like things are expensive, right? So I didn't want to be
Yeah.
spending all my time like at the mall. Um, and they would all go to like these fancy shops, right? Like we had this. I don't know if you have them in the States, but like the clothing stores where the models would like stand outside the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those kind of stores. So I never really had anyone to actually play video games with until later on. So that's a core thing that I think I missed out on as a kid,
Mm.
besides my cheating sister.
Yeah, that's insane that she cheated in Candyland and shit.
Right? And
That's
she's
fucking
like,
nuts, dude.
to this day, she's like, I never cheated in Candyland. And I'm like, you did. Even mom, like my mom, says that she cheated in Candyland. And my mom was disgusted by that behavior.
Yeah, I would too, man. Cheating in Candylands is like, I don't even know how that's even a thing.
Yeah, she's gonna listen to
Cheating at
this.
shit.
she's she's gonna listen to this. So hi, sister dear, my favorite sister.
Shouts out to your sister cheating at Candyland.
Exactly.
Um, it occurred to me I haven't shared a fun fact in this podcast like I usually try to.
No, let's end it with a
So
fun fact then.
yeah, okay. A game we didn't mention was Spyro the Dragon. Do you know who composed the entire soundtrack for Spyro the Dragon?
Oh, you actually, I don't remember the band, but you did mention this in a podcast. So
I
tell
did
us
mention this in
again.
the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, Stuart Copeland from the Police.
yeah.
Yeah, like yeah. I wasn't sure if I mentioned that already.
Or maybe it was another band that I'm thinking of, but you mentioned one of the video
Yeah, I
games.
think that's what it was. Yeah, I think I did mention that. Stuart Copeland from the Police. Yeah, he did the Spyro the Dragon soundtrack, which I didn't know till recently, which is really cool. And the music's really good in that game, and the Police is a great band. So, shouts out Police.
Shouts out to the police.
um, so yeah, wrestling related thing too. SmackDown 2 was a great game for the PlayStation 1 as well. It's like probably my favorite wrestling game ever is SmackDown 2 for the PS1. A lot of good memories with that. The create a pay-per-view mode was awesome. I would just put together the most insane matches for all the different championships and had a blast doing that all the time. Uh, like I would make like, the guys that you would never see like win like the title, like win the big title. Like it was like The Rock would defend the WWF title against Taka Michinoku or like Scotty 2 Hotty or like X-Pac or somebody like small, and I would always be like that would be like my thing. I'd always like make the smaller guys win the world title because I'm a smaller guy, and that's the kind of shit I like to see.
So another little fun thing about my sister is that we played WrestleMania 2000, I think it was, for the N64, and it was either 1999 or 2000. I forget the exact year, but yeah, she would cheat in that game too. she she would just take a chair and like continuously press the button to just keep hitting me. Didn't even let me get up.
Bam.
I
Yeah,
know. It was brutal playing with her.
that's awesome. But yeah, I think we've hit like all the bases for the most part in this episode. What did we clock in on this one at? It's got to be longer than
It's
them.
an hour and 50 minutes.
All right, we almost made the 2 hour episode here. That's awesome. Um, and we have a lot of stuff planned for future episodes. We're gonna brainstorm at some point coming up in the next couple days. We'll figure out what our next episode is going to be.
Because I think next week it's well, actually, yeah, next week I think we have to do the episode again on a Saturday because it's our Boxing Day. I don't think you have that in the States.
Yeah, it's a Canadian holiday
Hmm.
that where like isn't it like it's like a Black Friday type thing, isn't it? Where like you got like all these like special deals at like all the stores and stuff. Like
Yes, and unfortunately I
yeah,
work an insanely long day that day.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like
Unfortunately.
your version of Black Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
But
yeah,
we'll
we'll get together for that episode. So it'll be a surprise what kind of episode you guys will get next week. But it'll be a good one no matter what. We have a lot of stuff that we could do. Yeah, so there's so much, and we appreciate everybody who's listened so far, and hope you continue to listen with us.
exactly. I do appreciate everybody listening in as well. And check out our YouTube channels, which I will link in the YouTube part of this.
Yeah, like the Wu Tai Clan Gaming and Bouncer Bex on YouTube. It's been your host James,
And Rebecca, and
and
we are bouncing out.
see you.